Well, so far you've learned all about fractional changes, like when something increases or decreases, by what fraction of the original did it change? So, looking at the fraction of the original, couldn't we write that as a percentage? That's all we need to learn. So we convert the fractional change into a percentage change, like this. That's the original amount, that's what you did, and it increased by that much. So how do we show what the fractional increase is? Well, we draw a line, put the original amount at the bottom, because that's the fraction of which we take the increase, and then we put the increase on top, right there. So the increase over the original amount. So, and the increase, of course, we know we get by taking the difference between the old and the new. So if it's 8 books, that was the original, and it increased by 2 books, then the original amount will go here, 8, and 2 books will go over there on top. So 2 books over 8 books. That's the fraction that we get. So this is what fraction of the original amount? Well, you can see it's 1/4. So it's 1/4 of the original amount. And we can change 1/4 to a percentage. We know how to do that. Just multiply by 100%, which is basically the same thing here. Leave this out and just do 1/4%. That's what we're doing, right? So it's 25%. And that's your answer. So the change in this case from 8 to 10 is showing a percentage increase of 25% instead of 1/4 of the original. So it just makes it easier to talk about it in terms of percentages. So 8 books increased by 25% to become 10 books. So if you had 8 books, it increased by 2 books. Well, what are we doing? We're saying that it became 10 books. So 8 increased to 10. It increased by 2. And 2, what fraction is it of 8? It's 25%. So it's 25% increase. What does that mean? It means that if you imagine you had something like 100 books, if you imagine you had 100 books, then that became 125 books. That's all that it means. You add 25 more books to the original. Okay, done. Let's now look at this problem. You've got this plant that comes up to 20 centimeters. That was the original height, 20 centimeters. So let's write down and record the original height as 20 centimeters. Then some time passed and it grew and grew until it went up to 30 centimeters. So what was the new height? The new height is 30 centimeters. So the increase is how much? Obviously 30 minus 20, which is 10 centimeters. Great. So what fractional increase is this? Means by what fraction of the original amount did it increase? Well, obviously we know that this increase is 10. Original was 20. So 10 over 20, it's increased by half of the original amount. That means half of this. If we take half of this amount, it'd be around this much, which is the same as this much here. So, and we can turn that into a percentage by multiplying it by 100%, which is 50%. So we can say that the plant increased in its height by 50%. And the moment we say it, you understand right away exactly what it means. It means that you imagine if the plant was 20, it increased to 30, that 50% increase you can imagine as, imagine the plant was once 100 centimeters long, and now the original height has become what? 150 centimeters. That's how you imagine it to be. So if you think about it in terms of 100, you can compare it with anything else in hundreds. So just bring it all down to a standard or original amount of 100. And then if it's increased by 50, whether it's increased by 20, you get an idea of how far it's moved from the baseline, which is 100. Okay, let's look at this one. Here's some mangoes being weighed. The original weight was 1,250 grams. Then we put in some more mangoes here and the weight increased to 1,500 grams. Now, what's the increase in weight? Well, Take the difference between these two, the new weight minus the original weight, and the answer is 250 grams. What fraction is this of the original? Okay, let's take the fractional increase 250 over the original, which means the original 1,250 with 250 on top, and we reduce it, and we get 1/5. So it's 1/5 of the original weight. And we want to turn 1/5 into a percentage, so we just multiply it by 100, and we get 20%. So that's the answer, 20%. Means the mangoes increased their weight by 20% of the original weight. There you go. You have it. I'll try the decrease. Let's look at decrease now. The original amount is being decreased. The idea is the same. The fractional decrease will be, well, the original amount goes down below, and the amount by which it was decreased goes on top, and there you go. So that, how many of these fit into this? If these were candles, then there were 14 candles here. That's the total number of candles. And if we decreased it by 1, 2, 3, 4 candles, so that means the 4 candles will go on top. So what fraction of 4 candles of 14 candles? Well, 4 candles are 4/14 of 14 candles. So that is 2/7. So the fraction by which it decreased is 2/7 of the original. And you can see this is 2 parts of the total, which is 7. And we can turn that into a percentage by multiplying it by 100%, which will give us 28/4/7%. 14 candles decreased by 28/4/7%. That's how we do it. Okay, now you try it. How many eggs do you see here? 24 eggs. Very good. So let's show 24 eggs as 24 pieces right there. Original amount is 24 eggs. Then we used up that many. So what's the new amount of eggs? The new amount is 14 eggs. Very good. Now, what's the decrease? But how much did it decrease? 24 minus 14. Very good. That's 10. Okay. But what fraction of the original amount did it decrease? Or what's the fractional decrease? Yes, very good. You know all of this by now. So the decrease over the original, that's 10. We'll put 24 below and 10 on top and reduce it. The answer comes to 5/12. So that's the fraction of the original amount. Now, if we want to write it as a percentage, how much would that be? Now, as a percent decrease, multiplied by 100%, and we get 250 over 6, which is 41 2/3%. There we go. That's your answer. So if 24 is decreased to 14, it's a 41 2/3% decrease. Which means if it was 100, your standard was 100, then 100 will decrease. So you take away 41 2/3 from 100, what will you get? Take it out and you'll get 59 1/3. That's the final amount, so to almost close to 60. That's what it means. So every time there's an increase or a decrease by a certain percentage, so if I say that somebody's height increased by 5%, it means if you imagine that height to be 100, it's now 105. That's all it means. If I say somebody's weight decreased by 15%, imagine that person's weight to be 100, then you know now his or her weight is 85. That's it. You got a good grip on that one too. You understand percentages, and hey, you're a lot more smarter about things because you can now analyze things in terms of increase and decrease, thinking percentage with a very basic 100 unit baseline. Take care, have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.